Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Bet you weren't expecting me to talk about this game. Welcome to Destiny 2. That's what I'm gonna say about it. Well, about its name. Now, this game, it's got some heat. I've played this game a lot, and let's just say there's a lot of things I need to say about this game. First of all, in the Vaulted Glass you see me in. It's a chip what I did last night, but of course didn't finish it because stupid teammates. But I'm glad I didn't use it because this is going to lead to a perfect example of what I'm going to talk about. Everybody knows this lovely, iconic raid very, very well. Especially me. I grinded this raid a lot in D1. It was one of my favourite raids to do. However, there is one weapon that still haunts me to this day. The Vex Mytho class. They may ask yourself, wait, you've not got the Vex Mytho class yet? No. No, I've not. I'll explain why. In D1, the loot pool was so ridiculously unbalanced that you had a higher chance of pulling the Icebreaker or Gjallarhorn more times than the Vex Mytho class. I was one of those people that kept getting those two weapons and never once got the Vex. I'll even show you, go to my collections. My collection is universal, so anything I get for one character, I get for everything else. Go to energy, swap to 101. Vex Mytho class, grayed out. Now, I'm going to tell you a few issues I've had with getting this weapon. First issue, the main issue, is the game is full of cheaters. And I'm about cheaters, I'm talking about straight up hackers. I had a couple of games where I have actually seen the exotic come out of the chest right here. Well, not the chest, but the thing. I see a legendary and I see the exotic flying up, and in the moment it's at the ground, disappears. Just disappears. I see the exotic and it disappears off the ground. Multiple times that's happened, and yeah, and conveniently, I've not pulled one exotic. Not even an exotic drop from an enemy's happened, which resets your percentage counter in this of pulling an exotic. But yet I've never pulled it. Anytime I see an exotic, I know that somebody stole it. And I listen out who said they got it, because as you know, when somebody gets a weapon, like an exotic, it pops up in the left hand corner there, the bottom left. If a player says they've got it, and it doesn't appear there, I know they didn't earn it. They probably stole it. And the reason I know this is because if somebody calls out and it does appear there, they earned it. And 9 times out of 10, somebody says they have it, and it doesn't appear for them. But every other time someone else calls it, it appears, you know, Vex Mytho class, right across that. Now, I wouldn't have a problem if there was like a way to like get it. If they had like a quest, or if it was like, you know, fitting a weapon where you just go in, do a bunch of little things, and then boom, you get the Vex Mytho class right there at the end, guaranteed. No, it's just a drop rate gun. Not very balanced, especially since it starts off at 15% and it only goes up by 5 for every completion. I have done this raid, well, I've done this part of the raid so many times that I should have 1000% guarantee of getting it. But I have never gotten it. I have never even gotten an exotic, so don't understand why it's not dropped for me yet. I'm hoping, I've got my hunter, my warlock still have to do, I'll get it in here. But it's not this one. Anybody that does, you know, any other raid knows that any drop rate weapons are ridiculously hard, and there's people that get it instantly. But something I noticed, especially with my European brethren, is that for European people, the rates, not all European people, but the rates seem to be a lot lower for us than it is for Americans or anything else. Bit odd, huh? For an American, there's more Americans that pull raid exotics more often than a European person. But unusual. But let's move into the other things I want to talk about this game. The sheer fact that it is literally just D1 with a reskin, minus a lot of weapons. This game has a lot of like new exotics and a couple of new and interesting ones. But I'm gonna go over that. As you know, with the Witch Queen update, they have done a lot of changes. One of which is updating Void. Now, as everyone knows, Void is one of the most overpowered abilities, both for hunters and for warlocks. But Titans, not so much. Titans, it's the other two, it's Solar and Arc. I'm a Titan main, I know this. I'm only on my warlock because it's for the checkpoint. Now, if that's the case, then why? Why would they do that? Why would they buff something on characters that had multiple problems with the game since launch on D1? The answer to that is Bungie don't care. Bungie are nothing more than corporational butt cracks that care about money and don't actually care about the fans. But the only people who do care about the fans are the people that try their best to bring out new content, such as the weapons and the cool armors and the cool areas. Unfortunately, the heads don't like that and decide to ruin it. In fact, I'm very sure if the actual teams developed the content were actually able to speak their word, things that get done wouldn't be done. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works. So this game suffers from the money steal grab problem, where they want money, they release something, make it very unbalanced and broken, and then boom, and then ruin it later. For example, if you look at some of the exotics, one thing. Now, one of the most weakest exotics, there was quite a weak one, where certain types of weapons, for example, this bow. Everyone remembers this bow. It came out during the Black Armory event, or DLC. As you see, fires poison arrows on full draw and quick reload. Right? When it first came out, it was one of the weakest. There was other bows far better than it, like for example, the Wishender. Far more damage, and it was just all around better. And the fact that it's so much damage, you didn't need special effect. There was also bows that came out after it, such as this one. This one does a fire damage effect. I mean, like, I'd rather have this because the solar damage effect does more damage than the poison, what it did. And of course, you've got the heavy bows at the arc. And again, there was also another bow far better than it, which was this one. This one, when you got a headshot, allowed you to have arc arrows. And in fact, it fired multiple arrows at once, made it quite powerful. In fact, was one of the powerfulest bows in the game at the time. It's exotic Catalyst. When you get arc kill of any type, it activates its special ability, which sends in a little thunder strike. Pardon me. This bow and many others were the king of the day. This bow was kind of like the little sibling that was sort of good, but it could never keep up with its older or more impressive brothers. Until Void update, or the Void 2.0, or is it 3.0, I can't remember, they've done so many variations of it, I've lost track. Updated all Void weapons with increased damage percentages. Now, all Void weapons, which means weapons like the bow here have become powerful. Also means that this weapon here is any weapon you see. I want you to look and we'll scroll down. Every weapon you see with that purple Void has been buffed. So as you can see, quite a few so far. But look at all of the other weapons that don't have Void on them. You may notice a theme. When it comes to other weapons, there are more solar weapons than there are Void. Even for the heavy, there's more of like arc and solar than there is of Void. The reason for that is Void is a very unpopular element type. only certain enemies have it, and to be honest, most of the void weapons are kind of lackluster, such as, well, the bulb just being a sort of cheap copy of the thorn, a weapon that doesn't even have an element type. In fact, even has an SMG brother, which again makes it quite overpowered. Now notice, weapons that don't have element types do come in that category. There are some weapons that have received nerfs which I don't understand. For example, Illumina, this one here. A friend of mine got this. I use this weapon a lot. As you see, noble wounds, hitting an ally will heal them and also give you and them a damage buff. Very useful, especially if you are a warlock, because you have this hand cannon, you put down your damage rift, you kill enemies, and you buff your allies, you get more damage. It was a very simple concept hand cannon, but they ruined it. I used the weapon recently after a friend of mine said that it was horrible. Didn't understand why. I used the weapon a lot, and in my warlock, it was still good. I was using it with the warlock, I got back on. It was pretty good. But the more I used it on my Titan and Hunter, there was the problem. Even on Titan and Hunter, originally it was still good. It's not as good as it was with warlocks. It has suffered. It has. I don't know why, but it's far more weaker, far more useless. Makes logical sense. Now there's other weapons that have also received this negative treatment, especially some favourites. People ever noticed the Malfeasance, a hand cannon that did a lot of damage on targets, especially taken targets, has received a slight nerf where its damage is not as good as it used to be. Makes no sense. Why would they nerf the hand cannon if its goal was to do a massive amount of damage with its special shot? The answer is Bungie, making a weapon that when it first came out strong, and then weakening it later on so people would get new weapons. Another weapon that is also received this treatment is this hand cannon right here. This is one of the oldest hand cannons. Came out on day one. It was the first one of the first quest hand cannons, and again has received the negative treatment. Not as good as it used to be. I've not gotten its catalyst, but from what I've gathered, it has suffered a great deal. But weapons that have actually not suffered are like the likes of the Ace, the Last Word, the Thorn. Any weapons that have sort of high damage, high rate of fire have not lost their edge. Even the Hawkmoon, which I have not gotten its special perk or the catalyst for, has received some major love, especially since the catalyst, as every time you get a buff for your final shot, as the buff meter gets higher and higher, your accuracy also gets better and your stability. So basically everything is better with the gun when you're getting it. Amazing. Same thing with Dead Man's Tale, which I have been meaning to get the catalyst for. When she becomes a hip-fire machine. Now these weapons are all weapons that are base, no specialized damage, nothing of the sort. Well, besides this one, but this one, it's supposed to be. It is in the kinetic tree. It's actually an energy weapon. I will point out that just to ignore this. Now, weapons that have received unnecessary in the energy tree, one that is actually still holding strong is this one right here. This weapon is one that has a special laser effect that does an amazing lot of damage. Very good. Would recommend using it. There's still this hand cannon, incredible. It's essentially a hand cannon sniper with 6 shots. Again, very good. Only problem special ammo for that hand cannon. All the weapons that have primary are good, especially Sunshot. The Sunshot, as you notice, has 150 rounds per minute. The only other hand cannon that has a higher is Malfeasance with 180. So this has 20. The Sunshot has a 20 less. But this weapon can go on par with the hand cannons like the Ace of Spades or the Last Word, and actually outclass them. Especially with the explosive rounds high like its targets. When you kill an enemy, they explode. Again, one of the greatest things. It also has some of the nicest skins, and its catalyst I've heard is quite good as well. Now, other weapons including heavies I will not get into, but note a lot of the standard heavies have lost their touch, but Void have picked up. So, why is this game like this, you may be asking? Why is there so much negatives? Well, again, it's had a lot of negativity because of its bad choices and bad developments. Like, if they improved a lot of this stuff, like for example, making the Vex a quest weapon, make all exotic weapons from raids quests instead of like a small percentage chance of getting it, people play more of the raids. People play the raids, get over and done with, and then boom, just play the raids for fun. Getting better loot, getting higher, that type of stuff. And if they put like a new special loot thing, like special materials that allows you to buy exotics, like say like if you cannot get it from a quest or even do that way, have it so you can buy it. Like you do the raid some amount of times, you can buy the exotic outright. Weapons, all that, just balance them properly, make them better for the community. Balance the characters, make it so that not the hunters or the warlocks or the titans become overpowered, just make them equal to each other. Make them work together. And that will make things better. But again, that's Bungie's decision, and everyone knows Bungie not very good at that. I mean, look what they did to Halo Reach when they worked on that. They left it in a poor state mess that 343 had to fix a lot of the stuff. I mean, granted, one probably examples of them giving up on a game was that's a perfect example. They were the primary ones that worked on the multiplayer for that game, and as you see, when it comes to the multiplayer, that balanced. The last game unpolished, this game, it's just never polished. The only Destiny game that has been polished was Destiny 1, which they polished at the end of its life cycle. They finally fixed all the problems, they finally made the game good as the game died. Again, if they would have worked on it a bit faster, they would have fixed it. They would have saved the game. But this game's going to suffer the same fate. Now, if they do work on a third one, I hope that they take their thumbs out of their backsides and actually, do the work they need to do. Fix the game, make it work better. Would I recommend people getting this? If you like playing looting games, yes, but if you don't like being bullied by the game developer by having bad stats, this bad, that, don't. There's far more better games out there I'd recommend you playing. But if you don't care about stuff, hop on. Just note, stay out of Crucible. Crucible is full of toxicity, hackers, and people that literally don't even deserve to see a light of day. In fact, they deserve to be in prison. That's how bad they are. Not in the game, I mean, like how much bad people they are. You'll find out if you ever do play. Now, this is it. You can make your decision if you come onto the game and see what I need to see. But yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope all people who watch this have a lovely day, and see ya.